Alright guys, Holochain versus Amazon Web Services, a cash cow strategy. So today we're going to take a look at Amazon Web Services and how that is similar to Holochain, which we've been following for the last couple months. Now, if you've completely given up hope on Holochain, then I hope this video gives you hope, because how I see it, I don't see Holochain as buy this token at this price, 1 cent, wait for it to go to $1. While that is very nice, I'm looking at it as more of a passive income vehicle. What AWS, what Amazon Web Services is for Amazon, it's not buy low, sell high. You can't do that anyways. It is a passive income vehicle where it makes money for Amazon month after month, year after year. And that is what I'm looking at for Holochain. Holochain is much different than its competitors. It does have competitors. You can invest in ICP or Akash. Those are fine projects by themselves. Though ICP has crashed from the price where it started at, around $400 to where it's at now. Well, I'm sorry, it was $700 to pretty much now where it's hovering around $60. So that was a wild ride, and because of that performance, I am pretty hesitant in getting into ICP, but Akash I am definitely looking into, and especially Holochain. So that's what we're going to talk about in this video, Holochain versus Amazon Web Services, and if you haven't already, please be sure to smash the like button, smash the subscribe button. Now let's get in the video. Before we actually get to the meat of the video, I just want to show you the charts of Holo or HOT. Now look, here is where we kind of bottomed out in July, where we're still in this big ass bearish dip. Now, if you bought at this dip at around 0.004, then if you rode that up to pretty much the high that we've seen a couple days back, that is 181% appreciation. That is better than the performance of Bitcoin, Ethereum, well, not Cardano. Cardano's going wild, but Bitcoin and Ethereum, where they pretty much 1x'd. Don't be like, oh my god, Holochain is a failed project, because it almost 200% appreciated. People just don't look at history, but there you go. Now, this video was really inspired by my last video on how many Cardano you need to have $1 million ADA portfolio by 2025, which was inspired by Sean Benson's video of how much will 1,000 Cardano be worth in 2025. So in his video, he really likened Cardano to Amazon Web Services, like how AWS is infrastructure for many different companies and websites that host their websites and applications with Amazon. He likened Cardano as kind of the same sort of infrastructure, providing a foundation for dApps and smart contracts. Benson talked about how for Amazon's AWS, their 4 biggest spenders, Netflix, Twitch, LinkedIn, Facebook, altogether spent $58 million per month in 2020. He also said that the revenue that AWS brought in 2020 amounted to over $50 billion. So the top 3 biggest spenders on AWS accounts for only 1% for the entire pie. The other 99% comes from hundreds to thousands of websites that also host on Amazon all throughout the world. So we know that AWS brings in more money for Amazon than the entire e-commerce section combined. That's how big it is. So for Amazon, AWS is their huge cash cow vehicle. Let's talk about who are the competitors. We know that Amazon is not the only ones doing this. Google is also doing this with Google Cloud, and Microsoft with Microsoft Azure. They all have their own cash cow cloud hosting service. Now the question is it fair to have just 3 companies monopolize this whole entire industry? Because it is monopolized. Nobody can get in because their competitors are huge. They are huge corporations with huge war chests that can buy out any sort of small competitor at any time. But that basically means that all users of AWS, Google, and Microsoft Azure are forced to accept the policies that they have. It's very scary to know in the back of your mind that your business can be shut down by any of these big 3 corporations at any time. And that is what happened to Parler when they allowed Trump on their platform. They got shut down, and that is just the state of our freedom of speech in the USA. Well, let's talk about Holochain Cash Cow. So right now we know that the problem with a centralized authority hosting your website or your application is that you can get shut down at any time on the whims of somebody else. You never want to give that power away to somebody else, but right now, we don't really have a choice. Amazon, Google, and Microsoft, they're the only ones that really have the money to run such big operations. But Holochain changes the entire game because they allow people, individuals like you and I, to run our own cash cow hosting channels. This means that the exclusive strategy AWS uses to make themselves $50 billion per year can go to the people. By becoming a host, you will basically lease out your computer, your data storage, your computing power to other people who are app publishers. And app publishers are pretty much anyone that runs a website or an app. Let's use this for an example. Facebook and Instagram. Do you think that they will continue to host on Amazon knowing that they can get shut down by Amazon at any time? Right now, they just don't have a choice. And similarly, Apple and Facebook already had this big privacy war going on because Apple required Facebook to get permissions from their users explicitly to track them and their behavior. And this is the problem because we know that Facebook tracks people without their permission. If you ask explicitly for people's permission, they won't give it and Facebook loses money because asking for permission is pretty much limiting the amount of data that they're mining, which will reduce their revenue, which is what they do not like. But if Facebook can host with you, you're decentralized. You're not going to impose any policies or rules on Facebook because you don't have governments or regulators breathing down your neck. You're not going to be a threat to Facebook because you're in it for the money and Facebook knows that, and they'll host with you because they know they won't ask you to ask their users to explicitly give them permissions to mine data from them. And at the same time, because Holochain is agent-centric and a decentralized peer-to-peer network, so it kind of works like BitTorrent. And like BitTorrent, when you have a lot of seeders on a download file, then your download goes much faster. So on Holochain, because it's like BitTorrent, the more people that uses an app, let's say the more people that uses Facebook, the faster it'll go without a rise in costs. So currently, if you want your app to run faster, you would basically just scale up or say you will buy more servers to run your app on. But buying more servers also scales up the costs. But what if you could scale up performance without incurring the costs? That is what Holochain provides. That is their competitive advantage. So that is a no-brainer for Holochain because it is the only network that can do that. Well, there is ICP and Akash, but Holochain is what's in the forefront of my mind right now. You cannot do that with AWS, Google Cloud, or Microsoft Azure. But while we're talking about hosting websites and applications with Holochains, the other thing that you need to access those websites is the internet. And one project that is working with the internet right now is Helium HNT, which you should check out because it's a great passive income source and I want to show you what I'm doing with that. Alright guys, there's no better way to use your Friday night than to set up your own HNT Helium miner. So I am in a contract with Noble IoT. They lease me their miner because my own miner is still being manufactured and they're waiting to be shipped. So what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to show you what I got from Noble IoT and I'm going to walk through the process of where to install it and stuff. It's really easy. They have a bunch of instructions to show you what to do. I'm going to show you the earnings later on in this video, so they're going to be like parts of videos filmed in different times just to show you the entire process of how I'm going through it. So I am your guinea pig, so use me as a reference to decide whether you want to go do this as well because it's a great source of passive income. Alright guys, so Noble IoT is the guys who leased me their miner. So this is the miner here, is this little block thing, or rack miner, that's what I think they're called. So it looks like the antenna that I have here that they gave me goes on top of that, so it's pretty standard. They have some ports at the end for your internet as well, but it connects to Wi-Fi. There is the power cord, pretty standard. They also have a bunch of instructions that they send you on how to set up your hotspot, so that's pretty cool as well. So I'm just gonna go set these up and show you where I put them. Alright guys, read them and weed. There is my miner and there is my router. So they're right next to each other by the window. Remember, there is no mesh, there's no bug screen in the window. The bug screen is over there, and this is my whole entire setup of where I actually film my YouTube videos. So that's pretty much the setup. I hope you've enjoyed this video. We're gonna take a look at the earnings next, and then you can really decide whether this is worth something investing for yourself. Alright guys, just want to make this quick update on Helium. So this is my Helium account, Fantastic Hickory Pigeon, and you can see that I have earnings of $6.90. Now, today is Monday, around 7:40 p.m. I started this around the same time last Friday. So in 3 days, I made $6.90, but that is not 3 days. That is the last 24 hours. So the weekend, I guess it was getting set up, so it didn't make any money, but the last 24 hours, I made $6.90. Remember that electricity on average is like 75 cents per month. So you are making bank with Helium HNT. So if you're not going to get in this, then you are totally missing out, like you missed out on Bitcoin. Alright guys, lastly, like I said, I got the miner that I showed you in this video from Noble IoT. You can fill out the application here at nobleiot.com/sign-up. Just just fill out this application, and then all the way at the bottom, make sure to click YouTube for How Did You Hear About Noble, and use the referral code Noble5114 when you submit your application. And that's pretty much it, guys. Alright, now go make some money. Alright, you really can't talk about cryptos without talking about governments. And here's the thing. I really do think that foreign governments would prefer Holochain, because I really see Holochain as government friendly, because you can choose the host who you want to host your website or app with. So say you're a company based in Russia, and we all know that Russia and USA are not exactly friendlies, but people in Russia still uses Amazon to host their websites and their apps. But if the Russian government says that, alright, we want all apps and websites in Russia to be hosted in Russia, then the app publishers will have no choice but to go on Holochain, because 1, it's cost effective, and 2, you can pick your host. Alright, here's my opinion. With Holochain, everything is still proof of concept. Until Holo goes live, I really do think that the price is really just gonna stay where it's at. I'm making this video because I have heard a lot of people complaining that the price isn't moving anywhere, they're not getting any gains. I really feel like a lot of people just get into cryptos thinking that they'll invest in some random crypto coin that they did no due diligence on, and think that 2 weeks later they'll be out rolling in Lamborghinis. It just doesn't work that way, guys. The market is designed to make 80% of participants lose their money. Now, the HOT token is going to be exchangeable for Holo Fuel in the Holo network, because once apps are able to be ran on Holo, the app publishers need to buy Holo Fuel in order to keep their app running. And hosting will allow you to earn Holo Fuel. And I go through this in my Holochain guide, which you should definitely check out. So what I'm really talking about in this video when I'm talking about Holochain right now is about the vision. If governments want their sites to be hosted within their own country and not in some other country, like how every other foreign country is really hosting an Amazon in America, or if companies don't want to be controlled or bullied or shut down by these 3 big central figures, which is Amazon, Microsoft, and Google, then what the heck do you think is going to happen to the price of Holo Fuel when the Holo network goes live? Alright, that's all I got for today, guys. I hope you've enjoyed today's video on Holochain versus Amazon Web Services and how it's going to really reconfigure the whole entire cloud hosting network. Other than that, if you learned something today, if you enjoyed this content, this video, please be sure to smash the like button, smash the subscribe button, check out these other videos on cryptocurrencies and passive income, and I'll see you next time. Peace!